Hebrews chapter 11. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, and what is seen was not made out of what was visible. By faith Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith he was commanded as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. By faith Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. By faith Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes out to him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. In holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemns the world and became the heir of righteousness that is in keeping with faith. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to the place where he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. He made his home in the promised land as like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked forward to the city with foundation, whose architect and builder is God. By faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was able to bear children, because she was enabled to bear children. Because she believed him who made considered him faithful who had made the promises. And so from this one man, and he as good as that, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as countless as the sand on the seashore. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the promised things. They did not see the promised things. They only saw them and welcomed them from the They did not receive the promised things. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. People who say such things have a country of their own. If they had been looking for the country they had left, they would have had opportunity to return. Instead, they looked forward to a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God was not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as an offering. He who had embraced the promise was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God had said, "It is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned." Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead, so in a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from death. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regard to their future. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshipped as he leaned on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and talked about and gave instructions about the burial of his bones. By faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because they saw he was no ordinary child, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter, and he chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting treasures of sin. Fleeting treasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt, because he looked ahead for his reward. By faith he left Egypt, not fearing the king's anger, He persevered because he saw him who is invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover and the administration of blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. By faith, the people went through the Red Sea as on dry land. But when the Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell after the army had marched around them for 7 days. By faith, the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. By faith, and what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, and Jephthah, about David and Samuel and the prophets. Who through faith conquered kingdoms and ministered justice, gained what was promised, who shut the mouth of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness turned to strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead, raised to life again, but others were tortured, refusing to be released because they might gain an even better resurrection. Some faced jeers and floggings, even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They went about in the mountains and deserts, living in caves and in holes in the ground. These were all commanded by their faith, yet they did not receive what was promised. Since God planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect.